welcome to Something Witchy, a Sabrina the Teenage Witch rewatch podcast. I'm Lara Cotter.
And I'm Skye Orchard.
And it's time for another episode. Skye, one thing I realized we didn't talk about on last week's episode, which was our first back from our personal hiatus, we didn't talk about what we did in December. That was super exciting for us.
We didn't. We suck.
So I want to just take a couple minutes and talk about that. We went to see Caroline Ray's stand-up at Wise Guys in Salt Lake City and got to meet her afterwards, and it was super fun.
It was really great. I laughed. I cried because I was laughing.
Our audience kind of sucked.
Yeah, they did.
We were the loudest section and got called out for being the loudest section. Skye, do you want to talk about your special moment?
Yeah. She asked for her loud lesbian friend to come up and get a little prize there. That was me. So I went up and I got what's supposed to be a beret that says witch in like Barbie font, but it's going to be an excellent tie clip.
Beret or barrette?
I say beret, but it might be a barrette. You know, I say some things weird.
As a girl who wore a lot of barrettes growing up, I always pronounced it barrette. Weigh in, folks. Is it beret or barrette? Let us know what you think.
Either way, gonna be a great tie clip.
Yep.
We'll snap a photo of it on a tie.
She was so nice. I highly recommend if you get a chance to go see her stand up, go do it and be loud and obnoxious, apparently, because you might get free stuff. We did tell her about the podcast, and we talked about the holiday mismatch because we had just finished watching that. And we talked about some of the theories we had, and she really enjoyed it. I thought we were funny, and then told us to reach out to her. So not promising anything, but we now have Caroline Ray knows who we are.
Hopefully remembers us.
Hopefully. But there's pictures on our Instagram, Something Witchy Pod on Instagram, if you want to go check those out and see us meeting Caroline. It was super fun. The other thing I wanted to just plug really quickly is Melissa Joan Hart has a new Lifetime show out, or it's not quite out yet. It's going to be out in March. So I think by the time this airs, it'll be out, called Killing the Competition, about a dance mom whose daughter doesn't make the team. So she hunts down a girl who did make the team. And Skye, I think we should decide now that we're going to watch it during our season 1 to 2 break and review it. What do you think?
Given the description of the movie, I'm down.
I did put a poll up on Instagram, on our Instagram stories, and the overwhelming majority voted for us to watch and review it. So,
well, if the people say so, and for those who didn't,
just skip that episode, I guess.
Confidence boost right there.
All right. Are you ready for your question of the episode?
Oh, maybe.
I'm going to give you a list of 10 soap opera tropes. Tell me which one. I don't know if we want to say like the most fun or the least enjoyable to have happen in real life. Maybe the most fun. Whatever springs to your mind. I'm just going to read off 10 tropes and you just tell me however you feel about them. So first of all is love triangles. That's a very classic one. The next one is alternate personalities. Blackmail, long-lost children showing up out of the blue, sibling rivalries, and I think this is more than just, I'm mom's favorite. No, I'm mom's favorite. I think this is like...
my brother stole my wife.
Yeah. The description says one of the siblings may be simply flat-out evil in a conquest to destroy the good seed. There you go. Multiple marriages. Apparently, Erica Kane from All My Children has been married a total of 10 times. That's not even including her invalid marriages. Affairs. Character in coma, secrets revealed, usually the secret revealed to the wrong person, and then gossip spreads like wildfire. So things like lovers turn out to be related, unplanned pregnancies, fighting at funerals, and lastly, somebody coming back from the dead.
I feel like that was more than 10.
It was more than 10 because I didn't realize the others were honorable mentions and I stuck them in there before the last one.
And I'm supposed to choose something I want to have, I would prefer to have happen.
Okay, let's say this. Maybe not happen to you, but maybe something you think would be fun to watch play out in real life, but like you're not necessarily involved in the drama, but you get to like watch it happen to somebody else.
So I was like, I don't want any of these to happen to me, except sometimes I think I could take a good coma. I'm not gonna lie. It's like, wake me up whenever this ends.
I feel
That's what I was leaning for, if it were going to be my life there. I don't know. It's always fun to have juicy tea and drama revealed, as long as the drama and the secrets don't involve my life. I feel like my life is dramatic enough.
Somebody who's like maybe an acquaintance that you're not really close to, like having some scandalous, crazy secret come out and just watching the repercussions happen.
Yeah, tea time.
Yeah, I'm a super big gossip, so I enjoy watching anybody else's drama. That's not my drama. If I was watching this happen to somebody else, I think it'll be wildest for them to be like, you come back to work on a Monday, let's say it's a coworker, you come back to work on Monday and they're like, oh my gosh, guess what happened to me this weekend? My sister that I thought died 10 years ago showed up on my doorstep. She's been alive this whole time.
She gone girled it.
That'd be the one I'd probably get the most sucked into, because I'd be like, why did they disappear in the first place? Why did they wait so long to come back? Where have they been? What have they been doing? Why are they back now?
I would like to bring someone back, or have someone just magically come back from the dead. I think it would make our lives so much better, and other people's lives a soap opera. Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Ooh, yes.
Just imagine the drama, the savior, just, yeah.
I don't even mind if it's like zombie version, because then she could just eat all of the Supreme Court.
That's true.
Does not even have to be like fully human, Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
And then we got a sci-fi monster soap opera.
Oh boy. We made it a few minutes about getting into the politics of the day.
Yeah.
Which is more than I thought we would do. So if you don't like it, I don't care. It's our podcast. We did have like a weird spike in listeners from Washington, D.C. So, hey, D.C. listeners, are y'all okay out there? Do you want us to send you a sticker to make you feel better?
It's true. We have stickers. I don't know how we want to disperse them, but we have stickers.
I don't know. Maybe when we ask questions, maybe if people will write in with answers, we'll send them out a sticker.
Email us if you want a sticker. And if the postal service still exists, holler.
I'm not shipping them through FedEx. I'm not paying $4 to ship a sticker. I'm sorry, friends. So I do have like 4 years worth of forever stamps.
Gotta use them before you lose them.
So our episode title, this is season 1, episode 21. The episode title is As Westbridge Turns. The TV Guide description, again, this is a little bit longer one, but shorter than the other one. Something's still weird with the TV Guide website. Their description is Sabrina, bored with her life, opens a magical can of worms which instantly transforms Sabrina's life into a dramatic soap opera. However, things don't go exactly as the Teen Witch originally planned, especially when she gets accused of being a thief. Or the Hulu version is sinister plots, tumultuous romance, danger, and intrigue. Just another day at Westbridge High after Sabrina casts a spell wishing for more excitement.
Hulu wins.
Hulu always wins. I think I'm going to just stop with the TV Guide ones, at least for the rest of the season, because they're all weird for here on out. It originally aired on April 25th, 1997. Jerry Halverson is back as our director, and Salem, Nick Bakay, wrote this episode.
Should have given himself some more time to shine.
Do you think that's hard, though, as a writer to write the episode, and then aren't writers like constantly making adjustments to the script as they're going through it?
I mean, he's voicing a cat. It's not like he's on set actively.
Maybe he didn't want to like be known as the guy who just writes the episodes to give himself more screen time. We have Bridget Flannery returning as Jill. We have Donna DeErico as Nurse Nancy you might know her from things like Baywatch, Married with Children, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and she will return in season 2 as a different character. We have John Lopriano as Stone, and even though he was on 114 episodes of One Life to Live, his IMDb picture is from this episode of Sabrina.
Did he have an eye patch and One Life to Live? Oh, okay.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about the One Life to Live. They meant in the picture.
Yeah.
I don't know. He was also on As the World Turns, ER, Roseanne, and Star Trek Voyager. Beverly Johnson is the fashion director. She is an American model. She was the first Black model to appear on the cover of American Vogue back in August 1974. She had a reality series called Beverly's Full House. She was also on Third Rock from the Sun, The Mommies, Martin, and Loaded Weapon 1. And we have Harold Sylvester as Kenneth the Cop. He was in things like An Officer and a Gentleman, CSI Miami, Malcolm in the Middle, City of Angels, and Married with Children. Overall thoughts, Skye?
I really liked this episode. It was a fun little jaunt there. Timely as well, because I've actually been down with influenza this week. So, yeah, the whole flu shot subplot there.
Flu is rampant.
I got my flu shot, but, those other strains will still get you.
I was going to ask you for our question what your favorite soap opera was, and then I was wondering if you were the type of person to watch a soap opera. Have you ever watched soap operas?
I have not. I mean, I like Jane the Virgin, which is making fun of telenovelas a lot, which telenovela is basically soap opera, so we can consider Jane the Virgin a very meta soap opera.
If you want like the most ridiculous soap opera that is just so much fun and like it takes all of the tropes and like ratchets them up to a 10, I cannot recommend enough Passions. There's a witch, there's a doll that comes to life, there's a forbidden romance between an upper class boy and a lower class girl. It is the wildest thing. I watched the hell out of that when I was younger, and it didn't run for very long, at least in the soap opera world, because soap operas are on for like decades. But if we ever have like, I don't want to jinx us, but if we're ever stuck in time for extended periods of time again and you're looking for things to do, I suggest Passions.
Good to know there. Can you just start at any point and you'll just quickly catch up, or do you have to watch it chronologically?
I don't think you have to watch it chronologically. I feel like if you go in expecting it to be a normal soap opera, you're definitely going to be thrown off very quickly if you just jump into the middle of it. But most soap operas are pretty good at starting you out, like where no matter when you start watching it, you can catch up pretty quickly. Because I also used to watch Days of Our Lives a lot with my mom. And then to this day, I'll still like randomly be at her house, like if it's a holiday or whatever, for some reason I'm off work, I'm at her house and she has it on. Like I still know all the characters and it's like still the same plot lines from 25 years ago. The soap operas are pretty good at catching you up from wherever you start. So we start with our cold open, where Sabrina and Salem are in the kitchen as Sabrina's trying to convince him to change his fur color from black to maybe blonde. Salem finally agrees to a hen and rinse to bring out his natural red highlights. Sabrina puts him into a weird spaceship-looking contraption, and then Salem comes out as a hairless cat.
Oh, Salem. And we're about to get into a soap opera. This is basically our one Salem moment. And if anyone would be fantastic in a soap opera, it would be Salem Saberhagen. But he is right. Black always is in fashion. Can't go wrong with black.
Then we have our outfit intro where Sabrina's wearing a Carmen Miranda-esque outfit complete with fruit hat. And she takes off a piece of fruit off the hat and says, "It's my hat and my lunch." Jenny and Sabrina are talking in the hallway about how nothing is ever new, but maybe something will blow up in science. In science class, they're learning about the endocrine system and listening to Mr. Poole's bad jokes. Then they discover that the cafeteria is serving fish sticks yet again. Harvey shares his exciting news at lunch that he just got his car realigned. Sabrina declares them officially in a rut. Libby and Jill come by to tell Harvey about a fashion show they're putting on tomorrow at the school, and they need boys to volunteer as escorts. Harvey declines and says he'd have to lose his mind to do something like that, which is some foreshadowing. But also, this was the point where I was like, all right, so Sabrina and Harvey have been on a date. They've kissed. But now Libby's coming up and asking him to do a thing. And his excuse is not, "Oh, I can't. I'm dating Sabrina." His excuse is, "I'd have to lose my mind to wear a tux."
2 points. One further on, we're gonna have them DTR yet again. I feel that they've already had this DTR and we're just going in circles there. As the world turns, as you might say. 2, I feel like Harvey would secretly enjoy being in a tux and a cummerbund, because it's Harvey. Like, I can see it. Also, actually, there's a 3.
Okay.
Libby says, also, it was very nice to see Libby and Jenny and all them again. It feels like it's been ages. Libby says that she and Jill are becoming Drake fashion girls. So I tried to see if that was like a real thing, like Drake fashion 90s, which then just pulls up the artist Drake. And then if you search Drake fashion girl, you then get all the allegations. So that was a wormhole I could not do because it's all just the artist Drake and all his poor choices.
But have you been singing "They Not Like Us" in your head for like the past 4 weeks?
A little bit, yeah.
It's all over social media and it's all that's in my brain like 24/7.
But yeah, those are my 3 points.
I kind of agree with the Harvey Tux situation, but I feel like Harvey cannot admit that because he's still putting up this persona of who he thinks his dad wants him to be. Harvey's daddy issues go deep.
Valid.
Sabrina gets home and complains to Aunt Zelda about how boring her day was. She's so bored, she's actually looking forward to her flu shot tomorrow. And as we just said, it is a terrible flu season. Get your flu shots, folks, for as long as they're legal in the US. Maybe double up and get a COVID shot too while you're at it. RSV? any of those.
Back to politics.
The minute the bird flu vaccine is available, I'll be first in line, just like I tried to be for COVID, but I wasn't qualified. I did eventually get it.
It's not fun, y'all.
Zelda tells Sabrina to make her own excitement. Salem recommends lint spotting.
You know, their version of lint spotting is as exciting as I thought it would be, because we know for a fact that lint monster is still hanging around somewhere in that house. It was never caught.
We don't think the dryer guy with the tail caught it?
No, because at the end, the dryer guy's gone and you see the lint monster.
Aren't they all playing a game at the end? They're all playing a board game at the end, aren't they?
That doesn't mean that he was trapped away. They could have kept him. Anyways, go find that lint monster.
Okay.
That's lint spotting in my mind, not watching a speck of dust. I'd call that dust spotting personally. Do you have lint flying around in your kitchen?
I mean, lint dust. Small, I guess maybe like very, very small pieces of lint. Like single strand lint.
Anyways, dust spotting.
Sabrina actually tries it for a minute, the lint spotting that is, before going to find Aunt Hilda.
When Sabrina is complaining to Zelda about being bored, Zelda says, "I'm working on the theory of inertia and I just can't stop," which made me chuckle.
I honestly didn't get that joke until I just saw it written out in the notes.
Wow.
And I was like, I know this is supposed to be funny, but I don't know why. So apparently I needed it literally spelled out for me.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Beth Broderick's hair is super curly in this episode. Did it distract you at all?
Only for a moment.
Every time she was on screen, I was just like, that is some wildly curly hair. It's very different from her previous look. The other thing that I was thinking about as I was watching this is like there's a theory that people, especially younger kids, don't know how to be bored anymore, and we don't know how to make our own excitement. And I was like, I kind of agree with that. Like I say it more like I just can't be alone with my own thoughts, because then I'll spiral into panic and anxiety about just like anything. It doesn't matter. I can make up something to panic about. But I was also like, maybe it's just because I can't be still and quiet and bored. I need constant input.
We live in a world now that's constant stimulation from so many different sources that it is definitely hard to not have anything.
Like, I can't think of the last time I was like, besides just like laying on the couch and watching TV, which you can be bored, but also like, I can't think of the last time I was just like so bored that I was forced to go out and do something and had no options within my own home or within my phone. So everybody continue to listen to podcasts to get that input for the day.
Instead of doom scrolling, take 30 to 40 minutes.
While I was cleaning, I caught up on all of my podcasts that I haven't been listening to.
I thought you were going to say doom scrolling. I was like, Laura, no.
No, I put timers on all my social media apps, so I can't do that anymore, which has made my life. There's been times I've had to like elongate or cancel my timer because like I forgot I needed to do something for the podcast on social media. So I'll extend my Instagram and then I'll end up scrolling more and then I feel really bad. So yeah, I'm happier when I limit my social media intake.
Same.
But I still won't delete them.
Oh no, the FOMO.
So Sabrina finds Hilda. She's watching a soap opera and catches Sabrina up on the plotline. Sabrina wishes her life was exciting as the soap opera, and Hilda tells her it can be with a spell. She summons a can of worms. Worms? What am I supposed to do with a can of worms? Hilda tells her to open it and all emotions will become heightened. But be careful. Remember, you have to take the good with the bad.
So sick flu brain Skye was so confused as to why they chose worms for this episode. Like, I was sitting staring at the can and just being like, okay, worms? Why? We're doing worms? Okay.
They made a brainworm joke before it was cool.
Yeah, I've got one of those worms in my brain right now. But finally, later on in the episode, they mentioned opening up a can of worms, and it was like, oh, this episode makes a lot more sense from the get-go.
Did we see, actually, Sabrina open the can of worms, or does... Oh, okay.
It's just
real quick.
Glowing light. You don't see any worms.
Okay. The next day starts off boring with Jenny saying that there is nothing new and that it's a day just like any other. Just then, a nurse with a stretcher runs down the hallway. The janitor has just collapsed. Harvey then comes up to Sabrina and dramatically asks her to talk in private. He pulls her away to ask her to meet him in front of the reflecting pool at 12:36 p.m. We see Libby listening in on their conversation around the corner, but then the bell rings and they go off to class saying how happy they are, while Libby clearly plots something. Mr. Poole announces that today is the day they are going to study reproduction in science class.
To a big, big cheer and clapping.
Cut later to the next scene where like it's on Harvey's face and Harvey just looks so confused. Then there's another boy that looks like very much like an adult who's like chin on his hand and like leaning forward and like really awkwardly into it and interested. And then there's just like a bunch of shocked faces. And then you see Jenny, and Jenny looks a little too into it. There's varying reactions. Sabrina looks disgusted and alarmed. The faces were just amazing. I like that they just told them, like, pretend like you learned about sex for the first time. And all their faces were just like, what?
So many different reactions.
Mr. Poole and Nancy, the school nurse, are canoodling in the nurse's office as the janitor lies on the bed hooked up to a heart monitor. And here we learn that Mr. Poole's first name is Eugene, or Gene, and his name is Gene Poole.
Such a great name for a biology teacher.
It's amazing. They suddenly break apart when Sabrina arrives to get her flu shot. Sabrina jokingly asks if they're dating, and the nurse threatens her with the flu shot needle, which has just so much liquid in that syringe for a flu shot.
Well, you can guarantee she didn't tap it to get rid of air bubbles either.
She had it upside down, and she did squirt it a little bit.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah. So I didn't see her tap it, but she at least did that part. So, yeah. Also, you're not going super deep into the arm, so you're probably fine.
I mean, this nurse has said she's only allowed to use cold compresses, and yet she's giving shots. There's a heart monitor. There's an active IV. Like, is there a mystery doctor? Is this nurse running an underground medical clinic? That nurse's room is decked out for a high school nurse's room? Like,
also, she has two different rooms because, like, there's like the entry office part, and then there's like the beds behind her. It's fancy. It's more than any nurse's office I've been to in school. Sabrina gets her flu shot and a Band-Aid and then runs out to meet Harvey at the reflecting pool, which this school suddenly has. Harvey is waiting for her and was worried she wasn't going to make it. He notices the Band-Aid on her arm and is worried someone hurt her. She tells him it's just from her flu shot. Harvey finally asks Sabrina to go study with him. He gives her a bracelet to mark the occasion. It's engraved with the words Harvey digs Sabrina and the time 12:36, which is the time they first spoke in the cafeteria on her first day of school. They share a happy moment together. And my question is, because this is all a spell, is Harvey going to remember any of this the next day? Are they still going to be a couple after this? Or is this just wiped out because everybody forgets the spell?
who knows? This kid has forgotten quite a few things already.
The one consistency that we've had in this series so far is there's a mailman named Dirk that has a crush on Zelda.
Oh, Dirk.
And I think we've seen officially the last of Dirk.
Oh.
Libby and Jill are ransacking Mr. Poole's desk. Libby is looking for a way to bring Sabrina down. She plans to plant something of Mr. Poole's on Sabrina and sit back and watch her take the fall. Libby can't find the answers to a test, but she does find a jewelry box with a diamond ring inside it. They leave just before Mr. Poole comes back inside the classroom. He goes to his desk and takes out the jewelry box. For some reason, there are wasps flying around his classroom, and he runs out again.
The classroom configuration has changed because that nook with his desk is at the front of the classroom because the counters are facing it where the students would sit. But there was a chalkboard in the front of the classroom previously, so we're swapping things around.
That nook has been there before. It was there in the Magic Joel episode.
Interesting. So we're just...
Maybe the chalkboard, he just lights the chalkboard in front of it. Because I think it's a freestanding chalkboard. I don't think it's a wall-mounted one.
The worm in my brain can't remember.
In the hallway, Mr. Poole runs into the mysterious new janitor, Stone. Mr. Poole asks him to check for a wasp nest in his classroom. The janitor dramatically says that could be deadly. Cut to a shot of wasps flying around a vent. Sabrina and Harvey are in the cafeteria eating lunch, and it looks like Sabrina actually takes kind of a bite of her sloppy joe, maybe? So somebody actually eats something on this show. Their table has a centerpiece and lighted candles as well as a tablecloth. It's very fancy. Libby comes up trying to make conversation about FDR's vice presidents. And I'm surprised you don't have a note here about the vice presidents, Skye. That's what I was expecting you to do.
You know, I did Google search it because I forgot he had 4 terms, and that's why he would have 3. I'm so tired from being sick. I'm not gonna lie. That I was like thinking in my head, 2-term president, even though I know he had 4. And I was like, there was some weird murder plot and they just kept getting killed off. And that must be why he had 3. And then in truth, it was not that case. And then I looked briefly at Google and I said, my brain can't. Apologies, y'all. It ended with Truman, though. Truman was the final one.
I definitely thought FDR served 3 terms, but it's 4, but he died during his 4th.
Yeah, which is then why Truman became president.
Again, I stopped paying attention in my APS history class after the 1920s, so.
Sorry I let y'all down, but Google it. I like to tell people at work that, and now I'm telling the people podcast. Google it.
While Libby distracts them, she slips the diamond ring into Sabrina's bag. Sabrina doesn't trust this friendly Libby. However, as Libby goes to leave the cafeteria, she is suddenly surrounded by wasps, which she is highly allergic to. She is stung and starts to faint, but Harvey catches her. He rushes her down to see the nurse. Harvey carries Libby down to the nurse's station. The nurse dramatically wipes all the books and plants off her bookshelf and has Harvey put Libby down on it to then give her epinephrine, which it's not an EpiPen, but it's, again, a syringe that has a lot of, like, if you gave somebody that much epinephrine, I think their heart would explode. Libby wakes up and the nurse tells her that she's going to make it thanks to Harvey. They help Libby to lay down in the other bed next to the janitor who is still unconscious. Harvey starts to leave, but Libby stops him and asks him to stay with her. Harvey says he has to return to Sabrina, and Libby doesn't understand what he sees in her. The janitor's heart monitor starts to flatline, and Libby just complains about how annoying it is and hits him with a pillow, restarting his heart.
And you can see that poor actor break just a little bit as he's hit with that pillow. There's a slight twinge of his mouth and his eyes flutter briefly.
Can you imagine that being your entire job on this episode is just lay in a bed and get smacked with a pillow at one point?
Hey, if it pays well, done.
Like, I don't think we actually see him until he's on the stretcher, right? So his whole time he's just laying down, pretending to be unconscious. Harvey goes to get a drink at the water fountain in the hallway, but is hit by a ladder as the new janitor tries to move it. Stone, the janitor, then carries an unconscious Harvey into the nurse's station, laying him onto the last open bed. The nurse leaves to get a cold compress, as that's all she can really do per the state law. Despite the fact we've seen her give an epinephrine shot, a flu shot, claims she's done Mr. Poole's blood pressure reading, the janitor's hooked up to a heart monitor, but okay. Libby gets up and shakes Harvey awake. Harvey wakes up, but he has amnesia. He doesn't know who he is or who Libby is. Libby realizes she can use this to her advantage and tells Harvey that she's his girlfriend and he can only trust her. Sabrina runs in and he asks who she is. Sabrina starts to say that she's his girlfriend, but Harvey doesn't think so. Libby is his girlfriend. Sabrina realizes Harvey has amnesia, but Libby kicks her out of the nurse's room. In the hallway, Libby explains that she's going to ruin Sabrina's life. Libby then says she needs to go remind Harvey about being in the fashion show. She's going to make him wear a tux and a cummerbund. Cummerbund. My spell check autocorrected to cummerbund, but I always say cummerbund. I don't know. Now you're just staring at me. Did you freeze? Did I freeze?
No.
Do you want me to say cummerbund some more?
Maybe.
Are you okay?
Get your flu shot, people. I could be worse right now. I'm the very model of pep and vigor right now as we record.
Jenny and Sabrina are drinking coffee in the cafeteria, and Jenny can't believe that Libby would do such a thing. But Jenny has a plan to get back at Libby tonight at the fashion show. I love this Jenny. I love soap opera Jenny. I want soap opera Jenny all the time.
She's super cool.
Mr. Poole proposes to Nancy, the nurse, in his classroom with an empty ring box. They look off into the distance, shocked to find the ring missing.
Before they discover the ring is missing, Mr. Poole has a great line and social commentary about teachers not getting paid enough. I didn't write it down, but stand with you, Mr. Poole.
It was something like, I can't offer you riches until society recognizes the value of teachers or something like that.
I have bad news for you, Mr. Poole.
I know. I was talking to my mom this week and I was like, in the world we're in, I'm lucky in my nonprofit in that we're not very reliant on federal funding. We don't get a lot of federal funding, so we're okay with not having any. But I was like, if things continue to get worse and like nonprofits start dying off and museums start dying off, like what do? And I was like, well, I still have my chemistry degree, so I guess I can teach chemistry. But I was like, I'm not teaching in this state. Are you kidding me? I will leave. I'll go teach in like Colorado. It won't be here.
Go back to the pharmacy life. Give people flu shots.
No, I do not want to work in healthcare. Watching my friends during COVID was enough to make me be like, no, I'm super okay with not being in healthcare. It's chill with me. Mr. Poole is talking to a detective about the missing ring and giving him the information to help him find out who took it, including that he was out of his room between 12:30 and 12:40. Dun dun dun. Sabrina is sitting in the cafeteria by herself drinking coffee, and we can hear her thinking to herself about what has happened today and what a strange spell this has been. She is interrupted by Mr. Poole and the detective. The detective asks to search her backpack. Sabrina gladly complies. He finds the diamond ring in Sabrina's backpack and accuses her of stealing it. She denies it, but he takes her away anyway.
I do remember Mr. Poole is like, oh, I trust her. She's one of my best students. Is she still part of the science club, or did she give that up when Libby took it over? Or do we not know?
I'm going to say yes, just because I feel like that's fun.
Okay.
I don't have concrete evidence of anything, but I'm going to say yes. Because I want to.
I love that journey for us.
It's our podcast. I can say Sabrina's in Science Club if I want to.
That's why she's one of Mr. Poole's favorite. And she actually answers questions in class.
That and Mr. Poole had the hots for her aunt for like 2 episodes, so.
Oh, yeah. One of Zelda's many suitors.
Oh, gosh. Sabrina sees Libby in the hallway as the detective is escorting her out and realizes that Libby set her up. She tells the detective this, but he doesn't believe her. As Sabrina emphatically points at Libby by like shaking her hand in this weird like with her movement. Her bracelet.
So glad you're doing the gesture for the listeners.
You know what? Maybe one day we'll release the video. I don't know.
Release the Snyder Cut.
So anyway, she's flinging her arm around. The bracelet flies off her wrist and lands on the vent above her. The detective is questioning Sabrina in his office, asking her for her whereabouts between 12:30 and 12:40. She says she was with Harvey. Okay, I tried doing the voice to text thing again. I don't think it's working. She says she was Harvey.
Now that is a soap opera twist. Come on, Nick Piquet, you missed out right there.
Oh gosh. Okay. He asks if there were any witnesses, but there's just Harvey who can't remember his own name. She offers him proof and starts to show him her wrist, but then realizes that her bracelet is gone. Just then, Sabrina's aunts arrive and ask to speak with her alone. Sabrina asks them to cancel the spell, but they can't. The worms won't stop until they reach an exciting climax, just like RFK's brainworm. Oh, okay. Sorry.
This is why DC is listening.
Hey, DC. Hey, RFK Jr. Thanks for tuning in. This is the evidence they'll use when they start prosecuting us. Sabrina starts to explain the predicament that she is in, and Hilda just finds it fascinating.
This is where they finally say the phrase, open a can of worms, and I had my epiphany moment of, oh, they're really witty, those writer people. I think Hilda suggested this because she wanted to see a real-life soap opera.
Oh, absolutely. I think Hilda was just as bored, and she was like, it'd be fun.
Here's my entertainment. At your suffering, niece.
What we should have gotten was a shot of Hilda and Salem eating popcorn while, sitting in the hallway or something. Back at school, the fashion show is about to start. Libby and Jill are all dressed up, and Harvey is in a tux. Harvey tries to compliment Libby, but ruins it by having to look at her name written on his hand. And I just really like Libby's gloves in this episode. They're cool.
It's a very Audrey Hepburn sort of outfit going on. Look at me. I gave a fashion reference.
Jenny is in the janitor's closet doing something with paint and a super soaker. We overhear thoughts about how she is going to stop Libby. She's going to crawl through the vents to the fashion show, and then they'll see whose face is red and glossy.
She is wearing a beret, as in the hat.
Yes.
Not a beret.
Maybe a beret, too, to keep the hair in the beret.
Best of both worlds.
The fashion show has started. Mr. Poole sits by Nancy, asking if they can speak. She tells him to meet her by the pool after the show. We see Jenny crawling through the ducts. And then Sabrina is still searching for the bracelet but can't find it. However, they do see Stone the janitor and ask him if he has seen it. He can't help them because the entire school is in danger. He's hunting wasps. As the scene ends, we zoom into the vent above Sabrina's head where the bracelet is dangling. Libby is giving Harvey his final instructions at the fashion show. She tells him he has to kiss her when they get to the end of the runway. He happily accepts this order. Again, this is a lot of really quick, short little scenes. Jenny is still crawling through the ducts. We hear buzzing and there are wasps up there with her. She calls for help, causing Sabrina, Zelda, and Hilda to look up. Stone the janitor comes running in with a ladder. He opens the vent and Jenny falls out. Jenny also has Sabrina's missing bracelet. The detective tells Sabrina that she is off the hook. However, Jenny has some explaining to do. The janitor tells them that they need to evacuate the area as the buzzing sound gets louder. There's a wasp swarm headed this way.
And as Jenny falls, she says, oh, I'm okay. My hair caught me.
My hair broke my fall.
The hair broke my fall. That gave me a chuckle because it is extra poofy.
Oh, it was really poofy. They're all running through the hallways. Zelda tells Sabrina to wait and zaps her a beautiful gown before she runs off to get Harvey. Harvey and Libby are walking down the runway. Harvey is about to kiss Libby when Sabrina runs out and stops them. Libby asks why she's there, and Sabrina says she cleared her name and is back to reclaim what's rightfully hers. Sabrina shows Harvey the bracelet, and he reads it, realizing that he belongs with Sabrina. Sabrina and Libby start fighting and both fall into the pool. They continue fighting in the pool, calling each other Super Freak and Super Tramp, which are apparently both songs. The Sabrina Wiki was like, oh, that's a fun fact. I'm like, I think that's just a coincidence. Oh, it's not. Super Tramp is a English rock band.
Well, we'll add it to our season 1 playlist. Super Freak. Actually, I think Super Freak might actually already be on there because Libby has already called her. Yep, 1.9, Super Freak.
There we go.
Doubling up.
So Sabrina and Libby are fighting, calling each other names until Zelda and Hilda break them up, and nobody else steps in. It's just Zelda and Hilda that come in and stop them. Zelda tells her to go be with Harvey rather than fight with Libby. Harvey and Sabrina embrace while Libby is kicked off of the teen fashion board. Nancy the nurse asks Mr. Poole what he was going to say to her, and Mr. Poole gets down on one knee to try proposing again. In the middle of his proposal, however, the detective comes back out asking if there is a nurse in the house. Nancy runs off to help the janitor who's just been attacked by a swarm of wasps. Meanwhile, the detective realizes that the fashion show coordinator is his long-lost sister and calls her by her actual real name, Beverly, which I was not expecting them to be brother and sister. I was expecting to be like, we met as children and we had crushes on each other and now we're in love. And that's what I was expecting to be. And I was like, oh, brother and sister, that's fun. Harvey and Sabrina are sitting together, and Harvey puts the bracelet back on Sabrina's wrist. They snuggle while Libby continues to sit in the pool sulking. Sabrina and the aunts are back at home, and Sabrina is hopeful everything will be back to normal tomorrow. She does wonder if Mr. Poole ended up with the nurse Nancy, though. Nancy returns to Mr. Poole, still waiting by the pool for her. He starts to propose one more time. Nancy wishes he would have asked her an hour ago. She's met someone. He asks who it is, but she says it's better if he doesn't know. She hopes he can forgive her, and she's going away. Mr. Poole quickly brushes off this rejection, admitting he got further than he thought he would. Nancy meets up with Stone, the janitor, in the hallway. Stone asks how Mr. Poole took it, and Nancy says he'll be fine. Stone needs her more because Mr. Poole has both of his eyes. In our end tag, Sabrina and Salem are in the kitchen lint spotting again. This time, Sabrina gets a little too into it. Salem tells her she needs to get out more.
Another fashion note. Did you notice Sabrina's hair?
Mm-mm.
It is weird. Like, her hair is down, but like the front 4 strands on either side or locks are crimped. And not the rest of her hair, but the crimping only starts in the middle of the hair and then doesn't go even all the way to the end. And this wasn't just me being sick, because Jill happened to be in the room as well. And Jill just walks in and is like, her hair. And I was like, you see it too? It's real. And so go look at that again.
You know what? I wonder. No, I don't know if that was her hair.
Wasn't braids.
I thought I saw braids in her hair at one point, but maybe that was somebody else.
Mid-hair crimps, just at the very front of her hair.
Nope, she didn't have her hair in braids at any point in this. Wait, no, she did. At the very beginning of with Salem getting his hair burned off, basically, she did have like 2 braids on either side of her hair.
Okay, and so they shot the 2 scenes.
I wonder if they just shot those 2.
Unbraided and didn't realize
it was still crimpy from the braid.
Giving my brain some twitches. That is a choice right there.
That's so weird that they wouldn't have noticed and fixed that, though. Well, that was the episode. Join us next time for Season 1, Episode 22, The Great Mistake. Skye, what do you think it's about?
Whoa. It's going to be a great mistake, Laura. Sabrina's going to do something terrible because she just DTR'd with Harvey. Either she's going to realize it was a mistake, or she's going to do something that he breaks up with her. And then we continue the soap opera. I don't know. Salem accidentally has a hairball on something he shouldn't, and magic happens. It was a mistake. He shouldn't have puked there.
Yeah, that's kind of a vague title to figure out what it is. Hey, this has been an episode.
Indeed.
It's Skye's conscious, so hey, there's that.
Maybe zoned out a couple of times, but it doesn't help that your Zoom background is blurred. So.
Oh, I forgot to. Yeah, I've had some meetings lately. Join us next time for The Great Mistake. We're almost done with Season 1. We have some fun stuff planned between Season 1 and 2. In the meantime, like, share, rate, subscribe. You can email us at somethingpod.
Maybe not that email address.
I'm not sick. I'm not sick. I promise. You can email us at somethingwitchypod@gmail.com and follow us on Instagram at somethingwitchypod and TikTok at something.witchy.pod. Until next time.
Stay magical.